Did you watch What If?
No, but I watched Aquaman.
Oh, you watched Aquaman. How was that?
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
Listen, it's just a movie, Like it's just we've seen this shit before. I think it's it's whatever. I don't think Jason Momoa is very good in it. I kind of liked Patrick Wilson's character in this. He's kind of the only one that had an arc. And Black Manta's cool, I guess, but it's just it was just nonsense, It was like whatever. I fell asleep for 10 minutes and I went to the bathroom twice and I didn't feel like I missed a single goddamn thing. So, yeah. Yep. How's What If? Did you watch any of What If?
I watched, I want to say like half of it.
Okay. I'm gonna watch What If. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
I think I'm liking this one a little bit better. It feels like it's actually like I think it's doing a better job of telling like the whole overarching story. Like it feels like we're leading somewhere. Unlike the first one, there were just like short stories, and then the last two, it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring them all together. This one is like from like the very I think it was like the second episode. They're like, okay, we're bringing people in from other universes.
Yeah. I know there's a 1602 one towards the end. I'm excited for that one. That seems like it would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything spoiled for me. I've been pretty good about that. So
I saw they also put out a clip from season 3 already. So
yeah, I did see that too.
Like, what the hell, bro? That's super quick. Season 2 just ended.
Yeah.
I guess I know that with animation you can it's so easy to record just a shit ton, and then you just use that for a bunch of stuff going forward. I'm sure the animation side of it is not done, but I'm sure they recorded the voice stuff for that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comet. This is the first episode of 2024. Hope everybody had a good New Year's. Despite the fact that this is the first episode of the new year, the comics we're going to be talking about came out in the last week of last year, 2023. So we're recording this on January 3rd, which is the day that the new comics for this week came out as well. I haven't read any of these. I don't think Sebastian's read any of them yet either. There's stuff I'm definitely looking forward to in there, but we'll be talking about that in the next episode. So this is we got some big stuff here, Sebastian. Got some real big stuff, and I think we should start this episode out with Duke #1.
All right.
So this is written by Joshua Williamson. The artist here is Tom Riley. We got Jordi Belair doing the coloring. I think I'm gonna look through these real quick, but I think this is my pick of the week.
I'm gonna say I
think it's mine. Yeah,
it is for me as well.
Here's the thing, right? So this is part of the Energon universe, I should say, right off the bat. It's the expansion of the Energon universe, which so far, especially with this, I'm loving the Energon universe.
It's been great.
I don't love Void Rivals. We've talked about this quite extensively. In fact, I think Void Rivals is currently worse than mid, I would say. I think it's ranging into the bad.
It's definitely going downhill, but it did have its uphill.
Yeah, sure. But I think overall it is slightly less than mid.
Yes.
But Transformers has been great, and I think Duke is off to a great start. I really, for the most part, like Joshua Williamson's writing, with the exception of Batman and Robin, which is currently going, which I have just dropped. I think he rarely misses, and this is no exception. This takes place kind of right after the events of Transformers #2, where Duke had his run-in with Starscream, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? What is all this shit? Why are there transforming robots here? He killed, this friend of mine. And so as a result, he's not satisfied with what the government is telling him, so he just goes rogue. It's a real Mission Impossible situation here, where he goes rogue. And he goes and he just tries to kind of discover what's going on here. So he runs into a warehouse area, and there's a kind of a big action sequence there. And that's kind of what this issue deals with. I was surprised I liked this as much as I did. Like I said, I like Joshua Williamson, but I do not give two shits about G.I. Joe. I have never cared about G.I. Joe. In fact, I would actually say, what I have seen of G.I. Joe, I think it's actually not very good. And granted, I think I've only seen, maybe half of one of the live-action movies. Probably not the best, probably not the best place to jump into that franchise, but I've never cared about G.I. Joe. It just always seems so boring to me. But I think this is really cool and good, and there's some good action in here, and I had a great time with this one. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know a lot about G.I. Joe either. I've seen both the live action movies.
Isn't the second
I
one much better?
see. I think the first one, the one with Channing Tatum in it, right?
Yeah.
I think I liked that one a lot better than I liked the second one, which was The Rock, I believe.
I think that is a very unpopular opinion, but
I believe
yeah.
it is, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I enjoyed the first one a lot more.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's like all I know from the G.I. Joe movies because I never even saw the Snake movie.
Snake
The
Eyes. Yeah.
Snake Eyes movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one.
I didn't see that either. That came out around the same time that the movie Old did, I think, that I was gonna make you watch.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I really like this one. Yeah, so Duke, at the start of the thing, we learned he's like essentially suffering PTSD
Yeah.
because of Starscream.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, so he basically is just trying to get to the bottom of it, and he goes to like this like alien meetup, and he realized that everybody there is like essentially crazy. He's like, this is a mistake. That's where
Yeah.
he meets the scientist, and she has like quote unquote like she thinks she knows where there's proof of these aliens, or at least she thinks she does. And so Duke goes in and breaks into Mars. Is it Mars Studios?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It was Mars. I know that. And so yeah, and so that's when he discovers like a whole military operation in there. And then when he goes back to the doctor, he essentially gets framed with everybody's death that's in there. And so yeah, so now he's just
Yeah.
it's just Mission Impossible style on the run.
Duke
And
on the run.
Yep. So it was, it was pretty good. It was a good first issue in my opinion.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I gave it an 8.
I initially gave it an 8, but I'm gonna bump it to a 9. I think it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, to anybody who's disappointed that I don't know much about Transformers, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, get ready to be even more disappointed. I know there's probably a bunch of Easter eggs in here. I didn't know what any of them were. Like, I know literally essentially nothing about G.I. Joe other than the main guy is Duke and the main villain is Cobra Commander, and that's about it. Also, I know that Snake Eyes is the character, but, whatever.
Let's get Amazon's attack out of the way.
Oh, God. I am so close to dropping this.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm still going simply because it ties in so like to Wonder Woman essentially.
Does it though? I don't. Because Wonder Woman has not mentioned this at all. This is dealing with the events of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is not mentioning this at all.
It's difficult, man. It's difficult because what if they tie in? What if they tie in?
I get that, Sebastian. That's what I've been feeling this entire time I've been reading comics. That's the way this always goes. But I think I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's only 3 issues left. It is confirmed to be ending with 6. So that's something, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, it's written by Josie Campbell. The artist is Vasco Georgiev. I think this is maybe the worst issue so far. Listen. It's not the worst thing ever. It's fine. It's just so painfully fine. Because this one essentially, this starts off. I feel like we missed like 10 pages of stuff in between this issue and this issue, because they're just like throwing around. There's like, here's all the clues. I'm like, what? Did this happen? Is this new? Who the fuck are these Greek gods you're talking about? Why is this like? Now they're about like, I think Eris is the goddess.
Eris,
like,
yeah.
She's suddenly a huge part. I don't remember her. I don't remember them saying a goddamn thing about her in any of the previous issues. That's all new to me. So then I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, the apples are a thing. I remember, like, Savannah is a thing. A big part of this issue is Mary goes to Belle Reve, which is the same place that the Suicide Squad are. They're based out of. And so she's talking to Savannah, and then Savannah like escapes, and then it's kind of like that episode of Daredevil season 3, which I don't know if you would have watched, Sebastian, but where Matt goes in to visit somebody as Matt, like in his lawyer guise, and Kingpin essentially turns everybody on him, and he has to fight his way out single-handedly. It's a very similar situation to that, it looks like, except not as interesting. Anyway, though, so there's that side of it. Mary and Belle Reve trying to get out of there, and then there's also just the rest of them going around and doing fuck all. I mean, like, Nubia and Io go to Greece and they talk to like the leader of the Amazonian refugee camp.
Yep.
And that's kind of it. And then at the end, they're like, well, it's not Eris who's doing all this with the apples, because Eris is dead and nailed to a tree.
Nailed to the tree that's growing the golden apples.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think this is boring. I don't care about any of the characters still. Even Mary, who I like, I'm like, I don't care.
No,
yeah. So that's where I'm at. This series, I give it an I don't care out of 50.
Out of 50? Damn. All right.
Yeah. Because I don't care, Sebastian.
No, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Frick this, dude. It sucked. And what the hell?
I'm giving it a 4. I had it at a 5. I'm giving it a 4. I don't care.
It a 5, bro. Sweet Christ. Yeah, I'm dropping it to a 5. I had it at 6. It's a 5. I literally didn't even say anything about this, but damn.
No, which is like, what is there to say? Nothing
what is there to say? No, like,
yeah,
because they teleported. One of them was hurt. They teleported again.
Nubia disappeared somewhere in there, or no, not so. Yeah, no, Nubia is the one who disappeared. Yeah. And then Eris is crucified to the tree. Yeah, not very good. Whatever. Okay, moving on. I'm going to talk about Timeless #1 right now, because this is a pretty big one. Kind of. So this is written by Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly. The artist is Juan Cabal. So this essentially is not great. The story, I will say, the main story is fine. It's about Luke Cage in the future. He's got like Hulk blood, and he has the Iron Fist, and he has some other, I think he has like the Extremis serum in him or something as well. And so it's him fighting Iron Fist, but Iron Fist is like possessed by Khonshu and is also in like a weird Iron Man Ultron style armor. And it's just them fighting. Iron Fist cuts off Luke's arm. So they do a big fight, and that's kind of it's like set far in the future, right? And it's also, so the way these Timeless issues work, this is the third one they've done, where at the end of the past 3 years they put out a Timeless issue, which tells a random story, and then it also kind of has some flashes of stuff that's gonna be coming up in the next year of Marvel Comics. So it's like Luke looking back, being in the far future, Luke looking back at a bunch of stuff that happened in the upcoming year of Marvel Comics while he's fighting Iron Fist and stuff. Main story, it's fine, it's whatever. It's not terrible, it's just kind of there. What I'm going to be spending the majority of talking about here is the stuff that it sets up for the future. I took notes of everything that it sets up. I took notes of all that. Some of these flashback stuff that is up. So Sebastian, I'm gonna run through these here, and you're gonna tell me what you think of them. All right.
All right.
First one, the new Moon Knight beating people up, just random people.
Same. Oh. They're
what
not bad.
No, I mean they probably are, but it's just like, because it's literally like one panel each we see.
Yeah.
We don't see much, right?
Gotcha.
We just see it beating people up. That'll probably be coming up soon, because that Vengeance of the Moon Knight series just came out today.
Yeah.
Thing number 2, Nova is back with some weird energy in his hands.
Okay. Is that Guardians related though?
I don't know. It might be. Nova's been around, I think, but I don't really he hasn't really been present this year very much.
Yeah.
Okay. We see that Iron Fist, Ultron, Iron Man, Khonshu hybrid with the like half faceplate off. I think that's what that is. It looks very similar. I don't know in what context. This is set way in the future. Maybe that's doing something there. So there's that.
Okay.
This is one that you will be familiar with. Dario Adra, the Minotaur, reading Immortal Thor #1. We know it's been being set up. Yep. He's reading Immortal Thor in this one, yeah. The Green Goblin returns. It's kind of a big deal, because right now Norman Osborn is not the Green Goblin. He's a good guy, kind of.
He is a good, yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Fantastic Four digging up a grave.
Okay.
Then there's Blade versus Hulk, which is coming out literally next week. So, then we have, I think this dude is Silvermane is his name. He's one of the adjacent to like Hammerhead. He's one of the gang leaders. Okay. So him somewhere in NYC. I'm assuming this is related to Gang War.
Gang War, I'm assuming, yep.
Then we have Doctor Doom with the Eye of Agamotto and the Cloak of Levitation with Captain America Sam Wilson, Thor, Spider-Man, and somebody else. Could be Blade, but we didn't get enough look at him, kneeling in front of him.
Okay.
Then we have somebody who also could be Doctor Doom being held in the Danger Room with the X-Men. We've got Miles looking like he's kind of like disappearing in some flash of particles. I don't know what that's about. A quick flash of Blood Hunt, the upcoming event Blood Hunt, which we will not be able to cover because it's tying into a bunch of other shit that we're not reading, or that I'm in the process of trying to get up to date with. We got Venom versus who I'm assuming is Kid Venom. I think that's that design. We have the new Ghost Rider. Just a shot of that. This is interesting. The new Punisher versus War Machine with the Punisher logo on War Machine's armor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting. I think that's maybe the most interesting thing I've seen on here. We have a new team of who I'm assuming are the Young Avengers, just like Spider-Boy's on there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the Young Avengers. Some dude, it could be Iron Lad. It's definitely Tony Stark, but I think it might be Iron Lad. Like a young Tony Stark glowing blue. Don't know what that's about. There's some just generally like big, weird, cosmic-looking dudes. Again, don't know what that's about. Very, not much info there. Scarlet Witch versus a villain with like a helmet on her head. It looks pretty cool, actually. I don't know who this character is. They might be new. I'm not sure. We have Black Panther versus Monet St. Clair of the X-Men. Don't know what's going on there. Clea and Doctor Strange with a baby. Don't know if it's theirs or not. Hey. I don't know if this is their official name, but like the Legion of Monsters, like Frankenstein's there. Like there's a werewolf, some other dude, the Living Mummy's on there. Captain America fighting Iron Man. They're fucking always doing that. Yeah. So this one's interesting. Bucky versus patriotic Godzilla ? I don't know who the fuck Bucky's fighting, but he kind of looks like Godzilla, but he's like red, white, and blue. He's got like the
is it American Kaiju? Yeah.
Oh, is that a character?
Yeah.
I have no idea that was a thing. It looked kind of like Godzilla, and it had the U.S. flag on it, so I was like, patriotic Godzilla ? Then we have X-Men approaching Magneto. Kind of a big deal because Magneto's been dead for a while. The resurrection of Magneto is coming out soon. And then the final one is Iron Man taking on what I believe to be Orchis Station. Also probably Fall of X related. So yeah, there's that. Any thoughts on those generally? Anything stand out to you there?
The Doctor Doom one.
Yeah, that seems like kind of a big. I don't know what's going on there. That seems like a big one. Generally, I'm just excited for like Blood Hunt. I think that event is going to be pretty cool whenever we get there. I'm excited for also the Punisher versus War Machine. That seems kind of interesting. And then like stuff like Blade versus Hulk. I'm kind of liking Blade right now, so I'm kind of excited for that. And then just kind of some general stuff and the Moon Knight stuff as well. So I give it a 6. I know I really didn't talk about the actual story there, but it's just whatever. So 6 out of 10.
I am going to talk about Predator versus Wolverine.
The finale.
Number 4, the finale. Yup.
I didn't read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know, but the audience may not know, Sebastian.
Well, you haven't read any of them.
Yeah, but maybe this is somebody's first episode, Sebastian. You never know.
Right. Well, anyway. So this one ended the mini-series.
Yep. And
so, what happened in this one? Explain.
What? No. You're on your own, dude.
No. Yeah. So we started with because the last one we ended with Wolverine in Japan, and the Predator had tracked him down there, and so we started off again with that one, and essentially the first bit of this one was essentially Wolverine just reminiscing the times the Predator had tracked him down, and the times the Predator had to leave because someone interfered in their fight, essentially. And so first it was Japan, and it was they were fighting, and then some enemies of Wolverine came in, and so the Predator retreated, And so the next one was Wolverine going to the Mutant House. I don't remember what it's called.
The X-Mansion?
Yeah, X-Mansion. Yeah, that place. But it was the school's name, though. Is what I was trying to...
yeah, Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters,
place.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. There was that one where he saved Professor X from essentially getting his head blown off. And then the Predator shoots a bunch of missiles at the house. He tries to save everybody, Wolverine. And he says he doesn't need help, that everybody should just stay away from him. And so he goes after the Predator there, and nobody listened to him, so they all went and helped him, and so the Predator retreated again. And so then we finally cut to the present, where Wolverine laid a trap for the Predator by basically placing the Predator's helmet on like a stake in the middle of a field, just to lure him out.
How is the steak cooked?
No, it's a wooden stake.
No, I know. I'm just making a clever joke, Sebastian. It's funny.
It was.
Was it raw or medium rare or
it was
well done?
It was well done. Yeah, and so they essentially kind of just duked it out. Logan got blasted in the shoulder. That was a pretty cool scene. Like not cool scene, but like it looked really cool. It was very well drawn. And then the Logan explains that he figured out that the predator hunts through like thermal vision and stuff, and so he like hid in mud, but it was actually he had clawed his own eyeball out and placed it in the mud, and so he jumped down on top of the predator, and they just were just like throwing fists at each other and stuff like that. Like Wolverine was clawing at him, Predator was clawing at Wolverine, and at some point, I guess the Predator had activated like his countdown to like to blow the nuke that he has, and that's how it ended. It was just the Predator nuked himself, and eventually, I think he said 5 days later, Logan just walked out, and that's how it ended. It was, as a whole, a pretty good fight. Not specifically this one, but if you like combine between the present day fight that we got between all 4 issues, it was a good fight, and I loved the art on the present day stuff. Some of the past stuff, they try to keep it with the time that was like taking place, so the art would change when you would have flashbacks to the past and stuff like that. But overall, I think the series was pretty good. Compared to the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong one, I prefer that one over this one.
Did you read number 3 yet, by the way?
No, I have to get that one.
It's the best one so far.
I know, I know. So yeah, I think I am preferring that one over this one, but this one's not bad in any way. It was a very enjoyable read. I gave this issue specifically, I think I'm gonna give it a 7.
Well, I am going to go talk about Book of Butcher now. This is Book of Butcher at number 1. I didn't read Book of Slaughter last year, so I don't know if this kind of follows on from that or not. But here we are. This is leading to the 5th anniversary of Someone Just Killing the Children. Can you believe that? So anyway, this is written by James Tynion IV. The artist is Ward the Deladera. I know also like Tate Bromble, and there's a couple other people who are credited on the writing as well. This essentially deals with Maxine, who I guess is a white mask at the House of Slaughter, and then she goes to train with Louis Butcher, I believe, who is he's the only black mask of the House of Butcher, I think. She essentially goes to train with him, and he's essentially just like, yo, go read a book, go read some books, learn some stuff about monsters and stuff. And he's kind of a real asshole, and so she is on this mission through Cecilia is the one who's kind of sending her to do this, because I think what's going on is that they're setting Maxine up to take Erica's spot as the Black Mask of House Slaughter, because since Erica has left the Order, and that other guy, was his name Andrew? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, with him dying and with Erica leaving, there are no more Black Masks at the House of Slaughter. So Maxine is going to go and train with this guy to become a Black Mask for the House of Slaughter, and so through this, she kind of also learns that like not all monsters are like trying to kill people. Like some are just trying to exist. Like she finds just a perfectly like docile, nice monster in this issue, and it's kind of that's kind of the journey here is her training with this guy and then going to become a Black Mask. I'm sure we'll be seeing her popping up soon in Somebody Who's Killing the Children because of that. But anyway, so there's that. But there's also a lot of this issue is actually like essentially like a book kind of. It's like the bestiary from something like The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Where it's going through a lot of information on these specific types of monsters, their classes, what their like characteristics are. It also gives some history on the House of Butcher itself. So it's kind of half and half between a standard story and then this kind of entries into this codex or whatever you want to call it. And so I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I think this is way better than the last arc was, just in general. Like the last arc had some higher highs, but we've said about it a lot. I don't like the last arc of Somebody Who's Killing the Children very much, but I think this was really good. I think I really enjoyed reading this because it did give me some more hope going forward and optimism going forward. Because I think this is good. I think the writing here is solid. It's not mind blowing, but I think it's very tightly written and paced, and I think it works really well. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I liked it.
Okay, so let's talk about Power Girl here real quick.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first real quick because I read issue number 3. This is not the issue that came out this week. Anyway, Power Girl is written by Leah Williams and the artist is Eduardo Pensica. Issue 3 I'm going to cover really quickly because Sebastian already talked about that last month. But I liked it. It's just mostly, Power Girl having an inner monologue and hanging out with the lion that dies and then turns into an evil lion, and then she becomes infected with the Kryptonian parasite virus thing, and that's kind of it. I liked it though. I think it was good. It's by far the best issue of the series, from what I've read at least. And this issue actually itself, I think, is one of the better things that Sebastian has made me read. Not the best, but it's better. And so, yeah, I'm actually I'm totally fine with reading the next issue. I did actually buy the next issue, so I'm probably gonna read it sometime soonish. But yeah, I quite liked issue number 3. I gave it a 7.
All right, nice. Yeah, I think that's, what did I give it? I gave it.
That is what you gave it as well.
I also gave it a 10. Yeah. Yep. All right, so number 4. So real quickly, so it starts off with us learning what exactly is the parasite, which is
that's good. Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but is it the ship, whatever? The
symbiote ship. The
symbiote ship. Yes. Yeah. It was, so it's what brought, raised Power Girl, essentially. And
which we saw a bit of that in Night Terror's Action Comics as well. I don't know if you remember that.
I actually don't. I don't think I did. Yeah. But, so they thought her and Superman thought they had destroyed all of it, but a little bit of it survived. And so the entire time, it has been trying to basically get back to Power Girl to, infect her. And it shows us the journey of that, it went from, I don't remember where it went, but essentially it infected a dude at the boat party, and it was about to infect Power Girl, but that's when Amalok interfered, and so he couldn't do it there, so he got knocked into the ocean. And then he basically... No. They abducted... Amalok's crew abducted him, and then they took him to space, and he infected Amalok's crew, and that's where he infected Amalok, right? And so then Amalok and Power Girl had that struggle. That's when he got knocked into the ocean, because Amalok fought back because he had a stronger physiology than most humans and stuff. So he was able to fight back against the virus, and so that's when it ended up in the ocean. And it felt Kryptonian-like physiology, and so it made its way into the Fortress of Solitude, where it found the lion. And so that's why the lion that's how the lion got infected and started attacking Power Girl, and that's how Power Girl got infected. And then we go back to the present, where Power Girl fights Superman for a little bit. They have a bit of a tussle. It's I think it's 4 or 5 pages long. It's not nothing too really big, but essentially, Power Girl's roommate / friend, don't remember her name, is the one with ESP powers that we met in the first.
Elman, right?
Yeah. She comes in and essentially uses her ESP powers to just pluck the parasite from her mind, because it's infecting her mind and stuff. And so she plucks it out, and Streaky the cat laser beams it to death. And yeah, that's pretty much it. No, not it. At the very end, we learned that still a bit of the symbiote ship survives, and it infected the Kellex, which is the robot that's inside the Fortress of Solitude, and it fuses the robot with what's left over of the lion and makes now he's just called Symbio. So that's a new villain now that's being introduced. And yeah. I didn't like this one as much as the last one.
I thought through it. It looked okay.
It was okay. I didn't like it as much as the last one. The whole fight between Superman and Power Girl was just it was very mediocre. It was just a lot of just honestly just them Superman just pushing her away, and Power Girl just completely wailing on Superman. I understand he didn't want to hurt her and stuff or whatever, but she's clearly infected. You could do a bit more than just being I don't want to fight you, So that was really my whole problem with that. But besides that, I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 5. I think that's honestly a bit too harsh. I'm gonna bump it up to a 6. So yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think there's one more that I read that you didn't. Oh yeah, Bone Orchard. Okay, I'm gonna talk about
Yes.
the Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement number 7, written by Jeff Lemire, artist by Andrea Sorrentino. Okay, so this is the issue that ties the whole thing together, kind of. After reading this, I feel like I should go back and finish 10,000 Black Feathers as well, because this is not just tying together stuff in this Tenement series, but also across the entire 3 series of the Bone Orchard Mythos so far. I think this issue is good. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's good though. I think yeah. So this essentially it kind of grinds the main story to a halt, to flashback to Felix and his origin. Who, if you don't remember Sebastian, he was the dude at the start who died in the first issue, but he clearly knew kind of more about what was going on here.
Yeah.
So he's still alive. Actually, they found him at the end of last issue, but so he's kind of explaining this whole story. He essentially was a PI who went and was following somebody, and she was doing some weird ritual in this tenement building with 6 other people. So there's 7 people total, and that's like the number 7 is clearly very important in this series because you have that. There's 7 floors to the building. There were 7 people for the ritual. The room they were doing the ritual in was room 77. And this all gets revealed in issue number 7 of the Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement. So clearly 7 is a very significant number in the series. And so he sees kind of the aftermath of this ritual and finds a book, and the book is called the Bone Orchard Mythos. And it contains a bunch of shit inside of it. And that's the other thing. It has talk of 7 like god-like deity beings. So I think we've met one of them in 10,000 Black Feathers. We may have in the passageway as well. I don't remember because it's been a while since I've read the passageway. But we also know there's one called Usul, who has been very prevalent in this series. Like, everybody's been mentioning the name Usul. So, and then essentially, so Felix is like, I'm going to go and finish this book. I'm going to figure out the rest of this information. I'm going to finish the book because it's incomplete. And so what I like about this issue a lot is that the stuff that it pays off feels substantial enough to be satisfying while not also paying off so much that it takes away the mystery, right? Like, we still don't know a lot about this stuff. We think we do. The issue tricks you into thinking you know more about the gods and stuff than you actually do. And it's really cleverly paid off because it like kind of shows some of that stuff. It shows kind of some of the deal with the Bone Orchard Mythos and it being, a book that's very supernatural. But it also it holds off on a lot of stuff. So we get the names of all of the god kind of beings. I don't remember most of them, but we actually don't get the name of one of them. There's still one where he's like, Felix is like, even I don't know who the 6th one is. Like, I'm just still trying to figure that out. And I think that really works to keep that mystery going, right? And it's like, oh man, well, if Felix doesn't know, like, this could be a really big kind of thing. And then the other thing we also know now from this issue is that these 7 gods are actually like they were split into 7, but they were initially one person. Like, this was one deity. And they were like, and Felix is like, and he's coming back is essentially kind of the implication. It's very kind of ominous in that sense. And I think that stuff works really well. I just think it also, like, because of this kind of flashback kind of big, I mean, the issue's called Revelations, right? The big kind of like, this is kind of what's been going on. It works really well as that. I don't think it works super well as a chapter in this series necessarily, because it does kind of like stop the momentum quite a bit. So I think it works well as its own individual chapter. I think it does, provide a lot of context that is very helpful and also very interesting. But I do also think, as with last issue, I think because of the kind of, especially at the start, this issue starts very kind of mundane. It's just a PI doing his, PI thing. And so the art is not as visually interesting as in some previous issues. That does change a little bit towards the end, where, we see some of the stuff with the gods, and that is very cool visually. But yeah, as it is, I think it is definitely a good issue. I think it was good for sure, but it's not my favorite of the series. I have it as 7 right now. That may be a bit low. I'm gonna leave it at 7. I think it could be an 8, but I did like it, but I don't think it's quite incredible. I do think going forward though, I'm even more interested in this series. I think there's some very cool things being set up, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
Well, I guess for the next one, let's talk about Dracula.
Okay, this is Universal Monsters Dracula number 3, written by James Tynion IV, and the artist on this is Martin Simmons. So, I liked it. I think it's good. I think it's a good series. The highlight is still the art, right? Like, the highlight's just the art's just incredible.
Yes, yeah. I want to be honest. I'm not remembering too much. I remember bits and pieces. Was this the one where they had that whole spiel in the asylum going on?
I mean, I think that's happened in like every issue so far. So I can't say for sure. And this one is the one where the daughter Mina goes to see Renfield, and he's like, "Oh, you're actually nice to me." Yeah,
I remember that one. Yeah, and then there was.
And then Dracula goes and kills her. Yeah.
Well, we didn't see that though, did we?
We saw he definitely bit her. I think he was going to turn her, so I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I know.
He definitely bit her. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know for a fact Renfield was telling Dracula like, no, not her, please. Yeah. She was the only one that's been nice to me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we did see the blood in the teeth marks in her neck at the end. Like we saw that. That was like the last panel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, yeah. I still think these are good. The second one was easier to read than this one. This one had a bit more dialogue.
Yeah. Dracula also is not in this one quite as much.
No. Yeah.
He was in two. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was a lot more about them figuring out what exactly happened to that other daughter that died in the last issue.
We do also see the Doctor and Van Helsing are teaming up as well.
Yes, that's also another thing. Yes, that's right. Yeah, no, I still think this is pretty good. Still loving the art for me. That's what sets it apart for me right now.
So like, it's so like it kind of looks almost. This could be way off. I don't know that much about art. But it strikes me as like a Van Gogh-esque kind of with these kind of very, I don't want to say splotchy, but just kind of the way the art is kind of structured, it looks very much like a painting.
I just feel like that's like the art is like it's part of telling the story. That's how they're like. That's what it feels like to me, at least. I don't know.
I mean, it's a visual medium partially, so that should be the case with every comic. Yeah.
I don't know, because sometimes for comics, it's just like it's always the same. Like comic to comic, it's like, oh, okay, like it's just I don't know. It just some comics look the same, but then for this one, it's so set apart from everything else.
I don't have a heck of a lot to say on this. I think we kind of covered most of what happens, but it's still good. I mean, I like it. There's only one more issue left. Yeah, but it is very good. I liked it. I give it an 8.
Yeah. I gave it a 7.
Okay, well, from one James Tynion comic to another, let's talk about the return of World Tree here. This is World Tree number 6, written by James Tynion IV. The artist is Fernando Blanco, and then Jordi Blair is on coloring duties here. So it's been a while since we last seen World Tree. The last issue came out August 30th, so it's been a hot minute. But it's back through at least March. We have 7, 8, and 9. We have the release dates confirmed for as well. So here's the thing. I think this is good generally. I might have lost some momentum. I also don't 100% remember where we were. Some of these characters, I wasn't sure if we had seen them before or not. I think I kind of mostly knew who was who. So this is essentially just like dealing with everything that happened in issue number 5. So Gabriel's dead. They actually don't really mention that at all. They really don't mention much about Gabriel dying in this. But I think that's mostly because the main focus is not on that old group. Like we see Fosta and Ellison, but I don't think we see any of the rest of the core group who were part of World Tree. So they're like those two are off at a cabin doing something, and Ellison's sister is there and is mad for some reason. I don't really remember why. The rest of this issue is a lot of focused on Silk, who is trying to figure out kind of what's going on. She meets some other dude who is friends with her partner who died. And so kind of he offers his help. And then we also see this like CEO dude who was kind of helping World Tree out in their initial efforts, I think.
Yeah, because we did see a flashback of where they first met him.
Yeah, right.
Which wasn't really a nice meeting, we'll say.
Yeah, they blow up his tires and they're like, "You better help us." Should I have a gun or something? I think.
They pull a gun on him. He's like, he's like essentially like, "I'm gonna persuade you to help us." And he's like, "And if I don't," they pull out a gun. I can be very persuasive.
Well, I think they're also like, "We have half an hour till we have phone service, and that half hour, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I think I'll be able to persuade you." But also, if I heard that, I'd be like, "You're fucking crazy."
Yeah,
like,
honestly.
None of this stuff. I mean, I guess they probably had some way to like actually show this dude that this was all real, but But I would have been like, "This is insane. What are you talking about with this weird demon in the internet? What's going on here?" So, but that's kind of it. I think we do briefly see Fear's in a hospital, It's all from her point of view, though, so we don't actually see her, but
Yeah.
she's in a hospital. And I think that's mostly it. I think this does a good job of getting us back into the flow of things, genuinely. I think it's interesting. I think it's, does a good job of dealing with what came previously and also setting more stuff up for the future.
Yeah. It's nice that they didn't just, like, go straight back into it after such a long, such a long break. Helps us kind of regain, just remember what exactly is happening here.
It's not quite, I don't think it's quite as engaging as some of those earlier issues, but it's better than the last issue, I think. I know you probably disagree because you liked the last issue the most out of all of them, but yeah, I do think, this does kind of feel like an in-between chapter before shit kind of starts going again. But I liked it. I think it was pretty good, generally.
Yeah, I agree. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I give it an 8. I think it's, pretty good.
Yeah. Let's talk about Green Arrow.
Okay, this is written by Joshua Williamson. It's got a couple artists on it, but let's see. I think it's got Carmine Di Giandomenico and Trevor Hairsine are the artists on this. Best issue of the series so far, I think.
This one was really good, actually. Yeah. Really good.
I liked it a lot because I know we talked about how after all the weird space and time shenanigans that he got into in the last arc, we wanted to have a bit more grounded of a story for him going forward.
Yeah,
that's his whole deal. And I think this worked really well with that. I really like how he just, like, I love all his conversations with the rest of the Justice League. Like, you can tell, like, he's really, like, he's good friends with these guys. He's a, like, valued member. It's funny because, like, with the Justice League, I'm like, yeah, Green Arrow's totally a valued member. Like, he's totally, like, he's a good member to have there. And I think of the Avengers, I'm like, fuck, Hawkeye's completely useless. Like, why is he on the team? But they're very similar. It's just like Green Arrow is just so much better. I fucking love Green Arrow.
Green Arrow just feels useful at times when it's like world-ending situations.
Right. Yeah. So this, essentially just like it's him talking to the rest of the Justice League mostly, and then kind of starting to look into the disappearance of Roy, and that's kind of it, right? We also do see at the end Onomatopoeia pops up, which I'm really looking forward to. That fight next issue should be really fun. But I don't know. I don't know how much I have to say on this, but I really liked it. I thought it was this was almost my pick of the week. I thought this was really great.
Yeah, if it weren't for Duke, this one would have been probably.
Yeah.
So mostly just Oliver going around talking to the Justice League because he went to the Hall of Justice and it was empty.
At first, so he's in a different universe.
Yeah. And so he's like, what the hell happened to the Justice League? So that's when we go around. And first he went to Batman, then Superman, then I think Wonder Woman. Yeah, right.
And then Hal's who he ended with,
Yeah, he ended with Hal. And so now this one also helped with a bit of like the timetable thing that we were like kind of worried about.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yep.
Because so we know that this is taking place during Birds of Prey.
Yep, and also the Wonder Woman stuff.
And also the Wonder Woman stuff. So that was nice to know.
Yeah.
At the end, we did see that he's recording all his the Justice League members simply because he doesn't really know if he trusts the fact that the Justice League like got disbanded that easily.
Yeah. Right.
And Waller is still doing her stuff.
Yep. I'm really happy though because this actually got promoted to an ongoing supposedly. Which I'm really happy about because this was initially just going to be the 6 issues that we that made up the first arc, and then it got upped to 12 issues, and now supposedly it's going to be an ongoing. So that's awesome because I like the series. I love Green Arrow. I've really been like wanting him to have a core series for a while now. Same thing with Aquaman. I'd love to see an Aquaman series come up.
I wouldn't mind seeing an Aquaman series.
But I like this creative team. I love Carmine Di Giandomenico's art here. I saw he was going to be working on this. I was so pumped because he did the art on Joshua Williamson's run of the Flash, and that his art he's a great artist. I'm really happy he's on the book as well. So I loved it. 8 or 9. Fuck it, I'm gonna give it a 9. I liked it a lot. I think it was really good.
There you go. Yeah. I had it at 7 for some reason. Honestly. Yeah. I really couldn't recall why I put it. Like it's not low, but like.
Yeah,
it should be higher, but so I'm giving mine an 8. I'm giving it an 8.
All right. Well, let's move along here. Let's talk about I don't know much to say on this one. Let's talk about Edenwood.
All right.
God, this series is weird.
It's for me. It's just all over the place, and sometimes it's just super hard to follow because it goes from like past to present at like nothing. Like it doesn't give us any warning or anything like that, and it's just like sometimes it's just so hard to like follow.
I also think the dialogue is really strange and doesn't feel natural, and I think that's part of the problem because the dialogue is doing like everybody's having conversations, but they're not really speaking like how a standard conversation goes.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so I'm just like, what is happening? What's like, and so they're like exposition dumping, but in a really weird pace. Like this issue is fine. I like the world. I want to like this series.
Same.
Yeah. It's written and drawn by Tony S. Daniel, and I think the art looks pretty good. Generally, it's very it's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
This issue, I think, the first half I think is pretty solid actually, because it's a fight with the vampires.
Yeah.
It's easier to follow. And they introduce like a vampire daughter has like insane power. And Rion and his friend are going to try and go to save Bastille's life to find some witch or something. Like that stuff's pretty interesting. I don't mind that. I still think it's paced really weirdly. It's like the same issue I have with the Catwoman issue that we read, where the concept is decent, but I think the dialogue is really weird, and so it makes it kind of flow strangely. But the present day stuff is where it kind of loses me. That's where like characters seem to just like be missing dialogue. Like they're talking, but then they're also like they're just kind of like there's weird jumps where I feel like there should be something in between, but there's not. And it's quite confusing. And then at the end, because like Rion is also he's met up with his other friend, not friend, but like his girlfriend's brother, I should say, who was there when they disappeared. And so they're like he's part of a team now that's like they're demon killers or whatever. And then they all get separated and they end up in a weird like vision dream area, I think. I don't know. So I'm really not sure whether or not I'm going to keep going with this. It looks like the first arc might end in February. I may give it through there and then drop it if I'm not feeling any more. Because again, I want to like this. There's some cool stuff here. And I genuinely am curious to see where this goes. But it's also like there's a lot of comics, man. Like I gotta kind of pick and choose a little bit. So if this isn't doing it for me after the next 2 issues, for sure, then I'm gonna drop it. But who knows? Depending on how I feel, I may not read the next issue. We'll see.
Yeah. See, I think like you said, like the beginning part of this, which was taking place in the past, was much more for me. Like it's better structured than what's taking place in the present right now. Yeah. And I think if he had, just focused on the past for a little bit, and then maybe like time skipped to just the present, I think maybe that would flow better. I think it's struggling with the fact that it's trying to share like these pages with both by trying to tell both stories at the same time. Yeah. And that's where it struggles the most. That's why it's like it's so hard to follow the present mostly, because I feel like that's the one that like at this point we should be getting more info on, because I think that's where he wants the story to take place. But he's like,
I don't know,
giving us so much in the past as well.
That's what I'm
saying.
It's
just like
over half of this issue is in the past.
Exactly.
Barely, but it is the case. Yeah.
And so that's why it's throwing everything in the past and then giving us like a couple pages for the present.
Yeah.
But like we need more pages of the present if you want to explain everything. And it's just the present is just getting so rushed, and it's not flowing well at all.
Yeah. There is also a bit where like there's a mayor or a governor or something, and he's taking care of a baby that is running the country or something. I don't know what's happening there.
God. Yeah. It's just getting so hard to follow because there's so much going on at once.
A lot of it is interesting, but I agree. It's like it's jumping around a lot. It's like what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I want to like this universe because to me it is actually really interesting. It's just it's super hard to follow. So I gave it a 5.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll get the next one, but maybe not. It depends on kind of what the rest of that week is looking like, I think.
Yeah. Let's talk about The Flash.
Yeah, let's do it. I fucking love this series. It's my favorite series of the week. Pick of the week, 10 out of 10. Bam, bam, bam. This is I'm gonna shut that out. Okay. Maybe I just cut out the air horn. I don't know. Okay. So this is written by Simon Spurrier. The artist is Mike Deodato Jr. So I made you read this week. Where are you at with this?
Honestly, I'm the same. I hate the art still. The story is not much better, in my opinion. You told me that it was one of the better ones. I
I agree. I stand by that. I think it's my second favorite issue of the series so far after number 2.
I mean, all right. I can't really say much because I haven't really liked any of these.
Exactly.
I really don't know if this one's better than the rest, to be honest. At this point, I didn't realize there were so many goddamn speedsters at this point. Like, Jesus.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's too many. Yeah.
I'm having like between this and then like trying to follow Beast World.
Yep.
And like
Titan Central City. Yeah.
It's just like there's so many speedsters that I'm just like, okay, I don't remember half of these guys at this point.
I don't even know how many kids Wally has because
it seems like 30 at this point. Every other time it's like, this is my son. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. His daughter, which was in a lot in this one, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Irie, right? Yeah.
Irie. Yes. She, I guess, seems to me to be like the fastest at this point. Like,
yeah, she's got some weird powers as well. Like,
she does some stuff where I'm just like, holy shit! Like, you gotta have some speed to do that.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah, so she teams up with Jesse Quick, and they take down some other. They do some random side quest. That's the stuff that's not as interesting to me. I think that part is kind of whatever. It's not. I don't think it's garbage, but it's just kind of whatever. The part that I did really like is Wally in the weird dimension where he's just like losing his mind and like not being able to remember stuff. There's a really cool like sequence where like visually this is very cool, I think, where like his speech bubbles are floating away, like his thought bubbles are floating away to like represent like him like losing control over his thoughts, and he's trying to like tie them up to things. And so you see him grabbing the tail of the word balloons and like tying. That is just so cool and creative. I love shit like that. It's so interesting, and that's the kind of stuff that you can really only do in the comics medium. So that's very cool. I like that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I did enjoy that part because I thought that was very clever. And then came the weird string thing that I guess I'm assuming he lives in this dimension, or is just a part of this dimension at least.
Oh right, yeah. I forgot that guy was in this. Yeah.
And yeah, he commends Wally for like thinking outside the box on that because he said it's the first time he's ever seen anybody try to tie their speech bubbles down.
Yeah.
And then he explains to Wally exactly like, does he explain to Wally why exactly he's losing his mind?
I think it's just, I don't exactly remember. I think it's just something to do with that dimension. The longer you stay there, kind of the less group you have on yourself as an individual and kind of become a weird collective being. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember he also tried to help Wally because he'd be like, this is your daughter. You got to remember her.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so it was like, it felt like he was like half helping Wally, but like half like just being like, yeah, this is just how this dimension works, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't specifically like, oh, I'm helping you. It's just like, I don't know, like nudging in the right direction type thing. Yeah, and so he kind of explained how that works, that whole dimension works, and then Wally, like, I think did he touch the statue and that
something like that
pushed him towards where Irie was, and he saved Irie from an explosion caused by a Mirror Master.
Mirror Master, yep.
Yeah.
I think that's mostly it, right?
That was mostly it. It was the side, because the other part of that story was just, you know, Irie and Jesse chasing down
they were investigating,
other speedster that led them to Mirror Master, and that was it.
Here's the thing, Sebastian. I know you don't like it, and that's fair, but you can't say it's not interesting, right? Like it's very cool and creative, and like the conceptual, like the concepts here are very interesting. I think you have to at least admit that.
This one I found more interesting than the other three. I will say that. It kept my interest longer than those other three that made no fucking sense to me. Especially with the gorillas. I'm so glad we're off the gorillas at this point.
We'll see. I'm sure they'll come back.
That was making no sense. Honestly. So yeah, so the weird string being explained in this whole dimension made a bit like it was a bit more interesting, I will say that. But overall, I just still don't like it. I don't like it.
So you're gonna make me waste a spot on this going forward as well, huh?
It's up to you. You don't have to make me read this.
Here's the thing, though. I love talking about this. Like this sort of like we talk about Amazon's attack. It's like, who gives a shit? Nothing interesting happens. Like it's all standard, very generic, boring, dull superhero stuff. This is like, I don't know if I like this. To be honest, I don't know if I like this series, but it's something, right? It's doing weird conceptual outside the box things that other comics aren't doing right now. And I think that's fascinating. I love that. And that's why I want to keep buying the series, And And I think it's more fun to talk about this with, bounce this stuff off you instead of just being like, you don't know what I'm talking about. Because it's very, like, if you don't read this, none of what we're talking about makes a goddamn sense. Like,
I wouldn't understand it.
Exactly. I don't know if I like this, but I'm interested by it. And I'm really, like, it's the same thing with Captain America. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. Genuinely, like, again, I am excited for the next issue. Not even just like, okay, I'm curious. I'm excited for it. I gave it a 6, which is not great, but it's mostly because I think the side quest with Irie and Jesse is not as interesting. I could almost see myself giving this a 7. I'm gonna keep it a 6 though. I think it's very interesting. I'm very curious to see where this goes.
All right, yeah, I gave it a 5. I gave it a 5.
Yeah. All right, so this is gonna be Titans Beast World number 3 here.
Yes.
I think it's still good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I still think it's good too.
I don't want to say it's a middle. It is a middle chapter ultimately.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. But I don't want to say it's filler. But it is kind of. It's not a whole lot. I think kind of goes on that progresses the overall story of this event. Right. It's a lot of the Titans kind of trying to deal with the beasts and deal with Garo, and then it ends with Waller visiting Lex and Strikers and being like, "Yo, you're coming with me. We're gonna get you out of here to help with the situation." Or a completely different situation. Waller is shady as shit right now. I don't know what she's planning. It's probably not good.
It's not making a lot of sense. Like she says, if I remember it's this issue, she said she wants to kill Garo. So that was just essentially killing Jesus Christ, Beast Boy. Yeah. Garfield, that's his name.
Yep.
Yep.
So also written by Tom Taylor, artist is Lucas Mayer. The art's not as good as I don't think, but it's still good. I just don't think it's as good as the other stuff. But.
But like it's right because she made Dr. Hate create Garo, right?
Yeah.
So why would she then go back and be like, all right, now we have to kill him? It doesn't make sense, right? So again, also her motivations are the exact same as Nightmare.
Kind of, yeah.
She wants the world to be afraid. Yeah. No, she wants the world to be afraid of the supers, not specifically the Titans. Supers.
Well, I think the Titans are her kind of not chopping block, but like the Titans are her people who she's like, this is why superheroes are bad. The Titans are doing a like disastrous job of handling this. I think that's why she created Garo in the first place. And then like if you have that, well, if you want the world to survive, you're gonna need to take that thing down as well. So I think that's like I don't think her motivations are contradictory so far, at least in the context of this thing. I know we've talked about there's some other weird stuff going on with Waller. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think in this aspect, I think it makes sense. So I am curious what she wants Lex for, though.
So he stole something from Batman. That we know. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah. And then besides that, it's just mostly just the Titans dealing with the spore-infected people. The best part of this issue, I think the coolest part, is where Donna uses the lasso to single-handedly like hold down Garo and like keep him back for a while. That's very cool. I like that a lot. I think that was just a cool character moment. I like that we have to see more of Donna and Starfire in this because they've kind of not been a huge part of this event so far. And even like Donna's essentially not even been present in the Titans series that much, but she's been, I think, the most underused character on that series. So I'm glad to see them kind of bringing more photos back on the Titans again in this issue. I think that was good because ultimately, like, it's a line-wide event, but it's called Titans Beast World. So I'm glad that they're doing some more stuff with the rest of the Titans and not just Nightwing.
Yes.
Although I do like Nightwing a lot. Yeah.
I do agree.
I give it an 8. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Yeah. I give it a 7. I give it a 7.
Also, Detective Chimp is in this one as well. He comes back.
Yes, he does. He breaks into the tower.
Yeah. He's been having a big year in DC between this and Night Terrors.
He really has.
Okay, well, that would leave us with one issue left, and that is Titans number 6. This is written by Tom Taylor. The artist is Travis Moore. This is the best tie-in for sure.
100%.
Which makes sense. It's written by the same guy who's writing the core series, and it also, I think, fleshes out the context of that event in a way that's really works really well. It's a very Starfire-centered issue.
Yes.
Where she is confronting Brother Eternity, who he and Tempest invade Titan's tower, and they let all the spores in as well, like the spore people, the beast people in.
Yep.
And through this, Starfire finds out that Brother Eternity is, I don't remember his name, but he's one of the Tamaranians, which we already kind of knew, but one of the Tamaranians that like was kind of helping her, and it seems like her like personal guard when she was on Tamarania. I don't know, whatever it's called, whatever that planet is called. So that was cool. I liked that. I think it was good. I like I like the focus on Starfire. Again, it's good to see like focus on another Titan. And I think the background and the context that gave was cool, and I think it works well as a complement to the core series, but also you can probably get by without this information if you really want to skip it. But I think it's good though. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. They Brother Eternity and Tempest broke in.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Yeah,
it was basically the biggest thing, and then it was at the very end that Starfire finally showed up and Brother Eternity was there, and he told Starfire, if I remember correctly, that he wants his god back. I remember correctly.
Yeah,
that's like basically his whole motives behind what he's doing. Not 100% sure on that, but I do believe that's what I read.
Okay.
And then what else? That's pretty much it that happened in this one, to be honest.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, good. I liked it. I give it an 8 as well.
I just gave this a 7 as well as the other one. Yeah, so
I think it's pretty solid week in comics overall. I gave a lot of 8s this week.
I gave it a lot of I gave it a lot of 7 and 8s. This week.
There's the album that's not great, like Amazon Attack. But that's gonna be the same case in any week. So I think generally it's a very solid week to close out the year. But that will do it for this episode. That'll do it for the first episode of 2024. Thank you everybody for watching or listening as always. Next week there is some big stuff. And by next week I mean this week because we're recording this on that day. New issue of Batman. I've heard that's a quite good one. We have a new series of Planet of the Apes coming out. We'll see how that one goes. Birds of Prey should be interesting. I've been liking that series so far. It's a new issue of that. Different artist on that. I've looked through it. It looks wildly different. I'm very curious to see what you'll think on that one. An issue of Blue Beetle I've been liking so far. Captain America. It's the same thing with this series that I feel about The Flash. Despite the fact that I actively really fucking hated the last issue, I'm really excited to read this one as well. This is not something we'll be covering, but Fall of the House of X is next week as well. That is the official, like, I know Fall of X kind of happened, but this is like officially where the Krakoan era is wrapping up, is in this next few months through these series. New issue of Fantastic Four, I didn't read the last one. I have it. I'll get to this one. The end of the Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood series is next week. New issue of Shazam is next week. More Titan stuff. And then the big one is Vengeance of the Moon Knight #1. There's a new Moon Knight coming in. We'll see. I don't know this for sure, but I'm feeling more and more confident on my theory that this is actually Mark's body with Khonshu taking over his mind. We'll see though. That will not be revealed in this issue. I would be shocked if it did. Anyway, anything you want to shout out here?
No, not really.
Anyway, thanks again for watching or listening. If you enjoyed, you can leave a like on the video if you're on YouTube. And you can also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these episodes, and you can hit the bell notification if you don't want to miss when we upload a new episode. You can also leave a comment if you would, if you would like to let us know what you've been thinking about the comics that have been coming out recently, or what you're excited for the next episode we're talking about. If you're on Spotify and you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so at earthsmightiecomics@gmail.com. That is our email address. It is all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earths. That's the way you can go if you want to get in contact with the show over there. And you can also follow the show on Spotify as well if you want to be notified when we put up new episodes there. So thanks to everybody for watching or listening as always, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.